Hi guys, my name is Uko Am and I come back. I also want to talk about the importance of planning your career, the importance of planning your life. I just finished this book. Today I was on leave and I had started the book. I bought it on Friday and I read it on Friday, and today I just finished it. Such an amazing book. I like it. I think it's cute, honestly. So it basically explains how did we get here, like the career, the career journey. So I just finished this book, and I've been wanting to do a sit down. And in this sit down, I want us to talk. I want us guys to talk about the importance of planning your career. So yeah. So I think my other life update is on the fact that I'm still trying to navigate myself. The year 2024 is honestly just me navigating myself, trying to like find my fit, because I obviously changed jobs end of last year 2023, and in 2023 I also in 2023 these are the things that happened. I wrote my final exams, finished my CTA, like my honors basically. I finished my CTA, wrote my final exams in April, had my lobola, had my lobola in Cape Town, and I had my traditional outfit attire exchange at my in-laws, which was like my small wedding, traditional wedding, I would say, but it was a small event. And then I had my white wedding, which was a big event, and I changed jobs. I wrote my board exam, my ITC board exam. So the year was constantly me moving. And this year I just took I took the year to myself, if I'm being honest. I was just like, I'm not doing anything this year. I'll just be trying to find my feet, obviously as a wife, trying to find my feet as a new employee at my new job, and just relaxing, I guess. But obviously not really relaxing, but that's how I figured the year to be like for me. I could have written my APC board exam, but I decided not to write it because I was just like, I don't think I'll have capacity to do all these things. So I did not write my APC board exam because of that. And because I did not write my APC board exam, I was trying to like settle in at work. That's a good reason not to write your APC board exam, in my personal opinion. So that is basically my life update. And honestly, when it comes to like, let's talk about planning your career, why it's important to plan your career. And I read this book by Bumi, and Bumi speaks a lot about how guys, I'm actually also like painting. So I bought these things quite some time back, and I've been wanting to paint, so I'm doing that today. I'm painting also because I don't want to be just watching you guys. So the topic I want us to talk about today is the importance of planning your life, and how can you plan your career, and just sharing the journey on how I plan my career and how I am currently, as I'm speaking to you guys. I'm in the stage where I'm thinking a lot about my career. I'm thinking a lot about what do I want my career life to look like. I'm always someone who plans. Like, I literally plan for everything, and because I plan for everything, when something happens, I've already kind of low-key planned for it, and I've already kind of made a plan B for it. If something that I did not plan for happens, I'll literally make a plan. For example, throughout my career, I knew that, okay, I finished my matric, I go to UCT to do my accounting degree and become a CA. And from becoming a CA, which I knew that was going to take me 4 years at UCT, and after the 4 years I'd go and do my articles for 3 years, and then I should be a qualified CA. And after that I was like, I'm going to stay in corporate for 3 to 5 years post qualifying. And my reason for staying in corporate for 3 to 5 years was because I've always knew that I'm going to be like a career woman, and eventually I'm going to start my own businesses. So just for context, I used to be like a candidate fellow with the Ellen Gray Scholarship, and obviously I was like, I'm going to be a boss babe. I've always been those people that like, I want to be a boss babe. I wanted to run a big corporate. I wanted to like run a company that is JSE listed. I wanted my company to be listed. All those big things. That was me. That was me planning my career, and I had it all figured out until I guess I failed. When I failed at UCT, that did not really alter my plan. It was just a thing of, it's a delay. It's a plan delayed is not a plan denied. I think that's how you say it. I knew that this is just a delay. I'll still graduate at UCT and I'm still gonna do my CA route. Like, that did not cast any doubt on me, but rather I saw it as an opportunity. So my reason number one why you actually need to plan your career is that when any failure comes your way, when you have a plan, the failure that comes your way will not feel like end of the world. You will just feel like as an opportunity to do something different, or you will see it as an opportunity to rest or to relax. Like, you will see the flower in the midst of what's happening, because obviously when you fail, you don't feel good. It feels like life is coming at you. It's horrendous. Like, I don't wish it on anyone, but unfortunately it has to happen. So when I failed, I was like, okay, God, what are you teaching me? And also I'm a big on like, okay, God, this is our plan. You gotta make it happen, because I knew that I did not want to go back to the township, because I grew up in the township. So I was like, I have to pass at UCT, like I have to do it. And I did it eventually, even though I failed. So having a plan gives you commitment. It allows you to stick to something, even when it's a bit shaky, but you stick to it because that's your plan. And whatever happens is never big enough to shake you, because you believe in your plan. So it's important that you believe in your plan. And so I managed to get through UCT, and I knew that I wasn't going to do my my honors with UCT, and I was bummed by that. I obviously felt bummed, but in me being bummed, I just knew that something great was going to happen from not doing my honors at UCT. I had to move to Joburg, and I was excited to move to Joburg because then that meant I was going to be close to my husband, who was then my boyfriend. But obviously it was not an easy decision, because I did not plan for that to happen. But because I knew the plan was to graduate at UCT and to become a CA. So I was like, if it means I have to go do my honors at a different university, I'll go do them, because I want to be a CA. That was the plan. So I was still within my plan of my career. So I was fine with it. It was hard, it was challenging, but I was so confident in myself. I was like, I'm gonna get to Joburg, get to UJ, and I will succeed and be fine. Only to realize that, oopsie, I was gonna fail again at UJ. And I was like, it's chilled, it's fine. We conquer life, we move on. Oh, actually we had COVID 2020. So once again, my plan did not change. And I eventually finished my CTA at Mopark, and at the time I was working. Okay, I feel like I'm not telling the story properly. So I eventually managed to do my CTA, and when I failed 2020 at UJ, because I had a bigger plan, I had to like kind of make my plan into smaller parts. I was like, I need to find a job. So when I failed CTA 2020 around November, I was literally applying on a daily basis, trying to find a job, because I was just like, okay, God, here's the thing there. I told you I want to be a CA. It's either I get into the CA or I'm gonna go do SEMA. I literally devised a plan that was not the big plan, but I knew that I was gonna take option B, because I wanted to have honors. I never wanted to not have honors, because in 2019, 2020, I worked, and as I was working, I kind of saw why it's important for me to have honors. So I definitely wanted to have honors. So if you have a bigger plan, whatever happens on the journey, it will kind of emphasize why you still have to continue with your plan, or why you might not need to continue with your plan. And even when I did IT in 2019, I did some coding, and I'm a good coder. For those who don't know, I can actually code, even though I don't like to I don't like to emphasize on that skill a lot because I believe that I still need to complete this plan that I have before I can explore the other plans. Well, not the plan, my other like passions and all of that. So the bigger picture was that my plans are still working out, and I was like, in 2020 I need to find a job. And then I went to go find a job. I was like, God, I have to find a job. I've been working, I've been studying, I haven't been working, so I need to find a real adult job. And I was like, God, if you give me this job, you will decide whether I do my CIMA or I do my CASA journey. And how I got God to decide on that is that I wrote to my funder to tell them of what has happened, and I was like, I'm interested to get funding, but I'm also gonna go do CIMA if you guys don't give me funding, because I was making a plan. I had a plan for myself, and I was just like, whatever happens, the bigger plan has to work. I have to do honors, and I have to go into corporate and work. But luckily or unfortunately, they agreed to fund me again for my CTA at Millpark. And because they gave me the funding, and I know that they only fund CAs, I kind of went with the plan of doing CA. But what I'm trying to highlight with the story is the fact that I had a plan B. I made a CIMA my plan B. I was like, I'm going to start doing CIMA, because one thing about me, when life throws lemons at me, I will make a lemon juice. Like, even my one best friend was telling me on how whatever happens to me, I'm always up and ready to make plan B. And that's the reason why I'm actually doing this video, is to really like talk with people who are probably failing, people who are struggling with their careers, that you literally need to make a plan. As much as your plan A is not working, please start devising plan B. Because I think I started thinking about CIMA when I kept applying for jobs and I wasn't getting any response, and I made my mom pay a deposit for me to start doing my CIMA, but eventually I did not go with CIMA. But this is why I say that always have a plan B, so that when plan A doesn't work, another plan comes. So if you have a bigger plan, but bigger plan doesn't seem to be working out, make a second plan. And I went to work. So I fortunately got a job in January on my birthday in 2021. Yes, no, 2022. Is it? Yeah, in 2022 I got a job at I'd say that was my first real job. I got a job, and I was just like, okay, God, fine, I am working. You kind of now need to make sure that I am able to do my CA journey, because I got funding. And then I applied at Millpark to start in June. And when I started in June, I was like, I made plan C. Now I was on plan C, because I never planned to study and work, but now I was going to study and work because that's what I wanted. I just felt like working and studying, like just studying only, was not good for me. So I just studied. I studied and worked. Plan C now was that I was going to study and work, which was never like my initial plan to begin with. I never planned to study and work, but now I was willing to study and work, and that was a plan that I planned for myself. Beginning of the year in 2022, I planned my life to be around the fact that I will study and work, and I did it because I had a plan for myself. This is one of the reasons why I'm shooting this video, to share how important it is to make a plan, and how as you make plans, like, life will happen, and you need to be willing to pivot. So that is my third lesson. Be willing to pivot from your plan. Do not hold onto your plan too much, because sometimes God will do amazing things in your life, and you might hold on too much onto your plan. Be willing to pivot. Be willing to see the grace in the mess. Be willing to see God's favor in the mess. Because when I was in 2022, I was working at one of my favorite jobs to work for. I literally worked there, and I was such a diligent employee. And as I was there, I was like, I need to check out if can I do my articles with them. I was now making other plans as I'm there, because I knew that the journey, wherever you go or wherever you end up being at, it's part of your journey, it's part of your purpose. And as I was there at my real adult job, I was looking out whether what options do I have? Can I do my articles with them? And I literally applied to do articles with them. But as I applied, I also started looking for my other options. Like I started pondering around the idea of me doing articles somewhere, and I started chatting to other people. What are the options of me doing articles? And I'd like to highlight that what actually inspired me wanting to do articles at a different firm is because I knew that I did not want to be a CA who is in retail or who has experience in retail, and the company I worked for was in retail. So let me give you a bigger picture of being a CA. For me, being a CA was CTA, I finished my honors, and I go and do my articles 3 years, and I was like, I need to go work in a manufacturing engineering based industry, because I knew that that's the type I want to be, a CA who's versed in that, like in the mining sector, I think that those were my interests, because I knew that mining was one of the most paying jobs. It was one of the most paying industries, and I knew that it was one of the biggest contributors to the economy. And in Gauteng, we have a lot of companies that are in mining and all of that. Like, my plan was making sense, that because as someone who wants to settle in Gauteng, I wanted to be in that sector. And on top of that, I got to understand the industry through my husband, because he was working in that industry, and I knew how big the industry was. And I always just felt like, imagine being a CA who is in this industry. You're gonna get paid really well, because that industry does well in the economy. They're the biggest contributor into our GDP. So I literally still had a plan of what it looks like as a CA post articles, and I wanted to do that. So that was my other plans, that after I finished my articles in retail, I was gonna go do my CA. I was gonna go work in a mining industry for like 5 years, because I wanted to be exposed in that industry. And when I was still wondering on whether to do my articles at my previous job, I was just like, no, this is not going to be worth it. I have an option to apply to a different firm, which brings me closer to the industry I want to go to. It's not really the same industry like in mining and all of that, but I felt like it gets me close to it. Like, it gives me a better idea, and I get to have a better experience compared to working in retail. And I want to say that I changed jobs because of my career plan. That was the bigger picture. And this is why you having a plan for your career will allow you to change jobs, to start applying for certain industries, because you have a bigger plan. And your plan could be influenced by the working hours in those industries. For example, I did not want to go into auditing because I did not like the hours that they worked. So this is one of the reasons why it's important to have a plan for your career, because if you just want any job, you're not like very clear on what type of job you want, you will literally get any job, and you'll find yourself working in a very like in any company that you never thought you would work for, because you had no plan, but rather you took whatever that was available in front of you. And because at my previous job, they did not want me to leave. Like, they were just like, please, is there anything we can do for you to stay? But I was like, no, I literally want that industry. It's not even about the work culture there. It was not about anything, but rather it was about the industry, the type of experience I wanted to have. And this is why it's important to have a plan for your career, so that you can kind of give your career direction. It's also gonna give you like a sense of mindset. No, you're also going to get a sense of like security in whatever decision that you make, because you had a plan. And when I got to my job to do my articles, I had a plan. Even when I got there, my plan was to try to understand the industry. I'm working at my current job. I keep telling myself that I'm a trainee. I'm here to understand the industry. I am not trying to win the best employee awards. I'm not trying to be the best employee. I'm not trying to be the best in anything. I am literally trying to understand how the company functions, how the company works, and how to excel at my job. I literally want to excel at my job, and that is very challenging. That is very, it feels like I'm a mediocre person, but I know that I'm not. It's just that I know that I'm here because my plan is to understand the work and to be a good CA within that industry, whereas someone else could be someone who wants to be the most excellent person, where you get to finish all the tasks without you understanding, or where you just get to do tasks just for the sake of doing them. I literally took it upon myself that I'm a trainee there. I'm not there to try to save the business or try to do whatever. And this is the thing about doing your articles in top, is the fact that you literally you can easily become a decision maker if you are not. You can become a decision maker indirectly, and it's important that you have a plan on how do you want to be perceived at the company. And one of the principles that I carry at my current job is to be a diligent employee, to be always present, and to always be of great assistance. I am not trying to have work of excellence, because I am fully aware of how complex our industry is and how hard it is to fully understand what's happening. But because I carry diligence and being present all the time, I end up doing quite really well on the bigger scheme of things. Like I end up being the person who's available for the work, because I carry diligence and presence as my biggest value that I offer as a trainee. And also, I never wanted to be off. I never put off excellence next to me, because I knew that in 2024 I am literally trying to regain my life. I am trying to get back my life. On weekends, I am not trying to work, and luckily we have a company policy that we're not allowed to work on weekends. But obviously, anyone who knows CA trainees, you'd know that you kind of end up working. So because I don't want to work on weekends, I'm not trying to work on weekends, because I'm trying to balance my life, in the sense that I'm trying to regain my life back to myself, because I spent so many years failing my CTA, like really struggling with my honors, really struggling with my career. And now I'm at a position where I'm quite confident in what I'm doing. Like, I know my job description, and I know that I'm a trainee. So because I'm a trainee, I don't get paid based on performance. Like, I don't get performance bonuses. And some of my colleagues are like, they will be getting those bonuses and all of that. But I have contentment in my decision that I am also trying to build a life for myself. I'm trying to basically build a certain life. Like, I'm trying to rekindle my friendships. In 2020 to 2022, when I was studying and working, failing my honors, doing, like, life was happening for me for 3 years. I barely had time to spend time with my friends, barely had time to spend time with family, barely had time to spend time with my then boyfriend, who's now my husband. So, like, this year my plan is actually to be present, like just being present, being able to go to church, like making time for God and all of that. That is my plan. And because that is my plan, I don't try to be working on weekends. I don't try to be constantly available to everyone. I literally prioritize what can I do and what can I not do. And I'd say that the year didn't go as, my plan for this year didn't go as much as I planned to. I also planned to travel, but I could not travel because finances were just not popping. So I kind of had to, so I did not travel as I thought I would travel. And the other thing, and I haven't been able to go home quite a lot because my mom has been visiting us more than I thought she would. And also we have projects going on with me and my husband, so that also makes me not go home as much as I thought I would. And yeah. And then my other point now, as I'm sitting down, I'm now planning my life again. I'm literally, once again, planning my life. I love planning my life. It makes me so excited, and it makes me excited because I get to see what happens or what doesn't happen. And right now I'm shooting this video, I'm obviously even reflecting on the plans that I had made and how far are they going. And with my job and how I position myself, I'd like to say that from my perspective, it is going quite very well. I know it could be very much better, but I think it's going quite very well. I think I am performing. I do put in the hours at work. I sometimes wake up at 3 a.m. to start working, to make sure I finish my job like on time. Sometimes I wake up until like 9 p.m. at night. And I do it because I kind of have to do it because I am a diligent employee. It's one of the biggest values that I carry, to be a diligent employee. But at the same time, I don't work on weekends. Because I don't work on weekends, that allows me time to myself, and it also allows me to kind of paint a picture of how I want my corporate life to be like. And as you guys, I don't think if I have mentioned it on this on my channel, on how I need a balanced life. Like my therapist is the one who made me aware that I don't thrive if I'm not living a balanced life. So I need time to myself. If I don't have time to myself, I literally crash and I start feeling anxious. I start, like, a lot of things that are happening. So the other critical thing that has helped me plan, like to start seeing the importance of planning for my life and planning for my career, is seeing my therapist, just understanding myself, how I function, how I work. So this might not be like true and applicable to everyone, but this is how I am. Generally, I can't work on weekends. Even when I was studying, I wasn't studying on weekends. So me not working on weekends is because I struggle with anxiety if I start working on weekends. So I push all my work to happen on my 5 days week. Work, and on top of that, my plan is to enjoy my life. I know that's tough when you are in your 20s. I feel like your 20s, you are constantly gambling. You are gambling whether you devote yourself into work or whether you leave. I haven't fully figured this out myself as well. I'm still like talking to God about it, and I'm just praying on it of what is supposed to happen. But a huge part of me feels like I'm on the right path. It feels like me, how I'm working, where I'm working, I've literally made a good decision. That's how it feels, and I'm happy that it feels like that, because I know that if it was not a good decision for myself, I would not be feeling as confident and as content as I feel. I feel very confident with my career. I feel very content. I like the fact that I'm able to go to the gym in the morning, start working, and prepare a healthy meal for myself. That's the other thing that's very critical for myself this year. I actually started doing this thing in 2022. I realized that in 2022, when I was studying and working, I needed to go to the gym and I needed to eat healthy. That was so important for me to function well, and that was part of my plan, is that I literally had to cook, go to gym, and study and work. I had to do all of them. So I don't think I'm a highly productive person, but I do think that I know how to prioritize my life based on how I plan. And this is why I implore anyone who is feeling quite sluggish about their life. If you're feeling quite very sluggish, you feel like you don't have a direction, please make a plan, because I feel like when you make a plan, God will guide you in your plan. And as your plan unfortunately does not go accordingly, you will be able to pivot from your plan, and you'll be able to see what have you learned and what did you not learn and what you did not like from your plan. So I implore you guys to have a plan of your career, but I want your plan to also include how do you want to live your life. I know your 20s are tough and are hard. Like, it's so hard to say in your 20s you want to go to gym every day, but maybe you can start saying that because you see yourself, your life plan is to be someone who is healthy, who exercises. Start going to gym, even if it's 2 times a week. And if you see yourself as someone who has friends in their adulthood, start maybe texting your friends and responding to their text messages once a week. Like, do something that leads you to your life plan, but you are still building your career. One of the reasons why I wanted to shoot this video, I want to highlight the fact that life will happen as your career grows. Life won't stop because you are failing at school. Life won't stop because you're not finding the best job that you wanted. Life will happen even if you are working at a call center. Life will happen even if you're just a secretary. And whilst you are the secretary, have a plan on how do you want to go up from being a secretary. Because at my previous job, I was not doing my articles as a CA, but I was literally working as a controller, like a cash book controller, and I had a plan that I wanted to be a CA. So I worked towards becoming a CA whilst working on a job that I did not like. I did not like doing my job, but I did it because I had to do it, and life wanted me there at that time, and I honored that journey, and I honored being employed there, and I was diligent in my work. I really performed well, and this is something I like to talk about, on the fact that wherever you are at, be your best. Like, try to be your best so that you can have a good experience, and at the same time you can have a full reflection of what you were doing there, and you don't feel like, I wish I had worked more, I wish I had met more people. You know, those things, those type of feelings that you'd have when you did not do your best. And just to come back with my current job, so I finished my first year of articles. I'm now in my second year, and I feel like I've done my best, because I had a lot of plans around how my 2024 I wanted to be like, and I'm happy with this plan. I'm grateful to God that He has made it work, and I'm now at a position where I'm planning and thinking about where do I want to do my APC board exams, and I'm actually doing my research currently. And on the other hand, I am planning and deciding whether do I want to do masters, do I want to go back to school after studying, after my articles, what do I want to do? I'm now at a stage in my life where I'm planning and thinking of how long do I want to stay in corporate. Because remember, when I was still younger, I wanted to be in corporate for 5 years post qualifying. But now things are a bit different. I've kind of worked in different companies. I've kind of gotten the work experience I wanted to. And now the question is, which industry do I have an interest in? And I actually used to have an interest to work in consulting, and one of my friends works in consulting. And from seeing her work and how much she works, it's like, I don't want this. I would be like to her, I love your job, and I once had a dream to work there, but I no longer want it. And that is also okay. You could make a plan, and because of how you see Uguti, if I go into that industry, I'm not going to like it. It's okay to move away from that plan and to be like, I don't want that for myself. And it's okay to change your mind, I guess. You can change your mind literally about anything. So please plan your life. Plan how you want your career to look like. And when we're talking about planning your life, I know it's weird, or it's like, Kelly, for real? But I literally used to even plan how I want my life to look like, whether I'm married or whether I'm single. Like, I'd be like, okay, if I'm single, my life would look like this. And if I'm a married woman, my life would look like this. I always had a plan for both two sides, and I was like, God will decide for me which one is the most ideal. And obviously now that I'm married, I am moving with my married plan. So it's like, if I was not married, I would have had a plan either way. And when you have two plans, I don't think it's a matter of you doubting God. It's a matter of understanding that some things are not in your hands. It's not, I don't think you can decide when do you want to get married. You can maybe say it out loud that you want to get married at this time, but it's us who plan, but God's plan is bigger than anything. And God's plan is always ideal. That's the one you want to go with. So as much as I implore you to make a plan, definitely make a plan involving God in your plan, but please have a plan for your career. And if you're someone who wants to do honors, you want to study further, start looking at your funding options. What funding can you apply for? Like, how can you, I remember when I wanted to study to do my honors, I was considering getting a loan for my honors, because that's how much I wanted to study. So start thinking about those things. Have a plan on what you want to happen. And I think having a plan also gives God a bit of a direction of what are your heart desires, and He will work around it with you. And whatever happens or doesn't happen, He will always make sure that everything works out for your good. So even if maybe your plan doesn't work out as you would have liked, he will make sure everything works out for your good. And that's the nice thing about having a plan and having God being your director of that plan. So things will work out eventually. They might take longer. I did not know that I was gonna, like, 3 years later, I was not a CA. I was like, oh, that sucks. But now I look back, I'm just like, oh, I'm so glad things worked out the way they did, because I got to get married to the love of my life. I got to work for such an amazing company with amazing colleagues. I got to work at my previous job where I learned different people and how they work. I loved my previous colleagues. So every journey, everything that happens for me, I feel like it's always happening for me because I've always had a plan. That's it. That's all I want to say today, is that having a plan will make you see life differently. It will give your life direction. So please have a plan. And how do you make a plan for yourself? This is going to be my last point. I'm sure I'm over 30 minutes. I usually don't like my videos to be more than 30 minutes. But how I want how to make a plan for your life is make a plan for your life and your career in conjunction. So, like, I don't know if conjunction is the right word, but make a plan for your life and your career at the same time. If you want to, let's say, this is how you make a plan. You make a plan based on what do you aspire. As you see things, as you see life, as you see like how people are living, there are things that you aspire for and there are things that you don't aspire for at all. So let that guide your plan. If, for example, be a career executive at work, start looking at what type of experience do people who are executives have. Most likely you'll find that they have an MBA. So you might have to start thinking about, when do you want to have your MBA? Maybe some of them are married, some of them are not married. And you might be like, okay, maybe I don't want marriage for myself until a certain age. Maybe I want to be married young, then I can build my career so that I can, like, you see. And then some people would like to just be a manager. If you just want to be a manager, maybe you want to be a manager so that you can have kids at a very young age and you can grow your other passions. So start looking what type of life you want to have and how do you want to get to that life. So be inspired, and from you being inspired, drill down to what you want. As I'm like talking about this video, I'm actually reminded by something that Nokuhle Khumalo posted on her Instagram. She literally she had a plan on how much money she needs to have if she wants to have 3 kids. She literally wrote down everything, like how much money she needs to make if she wants to have 3 kids. She wants her kids to go to a certain school and that is planning. And guys, you should actually check out her channel for all the career content and adulting content. She does more of financial literature for adults. She's more on the young adults content, but I also watch her channel. But she shared this on Instagram. So it literally boils down to that. Have a plan. You want to have 3 kids, okay, sharp. If you want to have 3 kids, which type of schools do you want them to go to? Which type of neighborhood do you want to raise them? What are the houses in that neighborhood? And that's the same thing as with your life and your career. You want to have 1 child. Okay, how will your life look like with your 1 child? Do you want to travel every year internationally? Will your job qualify you for that? You see those things. Those are the things that you need to start thinking about. And I've literally been thinking about how I need to pivot at some point from my CA qualification. There's this lady who I watch who's a CA, and she always shows us how much CAs earn. And I just be like, ooh, CAs don't earn enough for the type of life I want to live. And at some point I'll have to pivot. And I've always known that I'll have to pivot. But like when someone else makes such videos and I watch a channel, I get so, I'm humbled. Because sometimes obviously you think that your job will give you the best salary. You think you're going to be a millionaire because of your job. But obviously that's not realistic. It's possible as a CA, but not everyone will get it. Like there's always like you weigh your options. There are some CAs who earn really well, like they are CFOs and all of that. And there are some CAs who are just managers. I've always wanted to be a CFO. I think I still want to be a CFO, but I don't want to be a CFO in a listed company because I've seen how much pressure you get, and that won't work well with my work-life balance I want to have. So that is a plan. So you see what I mean by having a plan. It kind of gives you direction. It kind of gives you direction on how you want to look, how you want your life to look like. And I might come later on and say that I no longer want to be a CFO. I'd just be like, oh, being a CFO is too much work. I just want to be a middle manager, or I just want to run my business full time, or I just want to be a stay-at-home wife. I just want to be a stay-at-home mom. Like, you can change your life all the time. And being inspired by this book, I feel like I didn't say Mpumi dropped out at UJ, but she literally had a plan. She had a plan for everything, and some of her plans were not working out. At some point, she thought she was going to be like a very good singer, but that did not work out, and she ended up owning a salon, and she's now a YouTuber. And the other thing with making a plan, you need to make a plan whilst you're doing things. Like, don't sit down and think your plan is going to land on you. Do things, explore, go out there, try new things. Like, I'm here trying like YouTube, trying to be a YouTuber. I don't know if like in the next 5 years this could be my full-time income. And that's the thing about trying out different things. And I could say that, oh, actually I don't like talking to people, and I'm just like, I'm never going to be speaking on YouTube again. That's me trying something, and it gets to give me direction on my plan. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you took note of all the important points I shared. I know the video was not very, there was no clear direction of my video, and I just wanted to talk like freely without like a clear plan, like on a list basis. But I hope you received the message that please plan your life and your career so that it doesn't take you by storm, so that things don't happen to you, but whatever happens, happens for you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Oh yeah, this is what I actually painted as I was painting. So I painted this. This is what I painted. I'm not a good painter. I just bought this as like a hobby. Like, I try not to be on my phone too much. So my big hobbies when I'm at home is that I paint and I read books, just to avoid being on my phone, being on Instagram. And I think it helps. Thank you for watching. Bye. Please subscribe. Please share this video to someone who you think might need to think about their plan, career, life plan. Yeah. Bye.